All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to the live broadcast from Human Capital Partners. My name is Shehu Zubairu. It's been over 3 weeks now, and it's been a long, challenging week for many of us who have been forced to make some changes, some adjustments with regards to managing their time remotely, and of course, ensuring that the productivity is not diminished in the entire process. All right, that's what this particular session is about. And hopefully, we'll be able to drill down to the real issues, the peculiar issues, and how we can handle them as professionals, both in our personal lives and, of course, in the lives of our organization. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're all welcome to the session. All right, let me just say a bit about Human Capital Partners. All right, we are a HR consulting firm um, that was established several years ago. We used to be the executive selection and training arm of Otto Anderson, and of course, we moved to become the executive selection and training services group of KPMG in 2002. All right. From 2011, for operational and strategic reasons, Human Capital Partners was born, having exited from KPMG. And ever since then, we have been playing in the HR space of the industry. We have been responsible for attracting, developing, and retaining talent for several of our clients, and as much as possible to ensure that they get the best of service in terms of personnel development. All right. The person that will be speaking today, Innocent, is going to be speaking today, and he will be responsible for handling this particular interesting topic. Who is Innocent? Innocent is the managing partner for Human Capital Partners, and is also a graduate of the leading professional services of the Harvard Business School, and also a graduate of the Lagos Business School Advanced Management Program. He's certified in level A and level B psychometrics from the British Psychological Society, and is a fellow of the Institute of Management Consulting. He's a member of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and an award recipient in the category of Management Personality Leadership Prize of the African Prize for Leadership Executive Award in 2017. Innocent has 29 years experience in management consulting, and he also has hands-on experience across the entire HR value chain. All right, so that is Innocent. I'll be bringing Innocent live so we can see our speaker. Innocent, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. But it appears there's so many people on so many people are not able to get in now. There are over 100
Okay,
people on our YouTube channel. People are
okay,
calling me
okay,
directly. I don't know how we sort out that. Even on the
okay.
Teams network too, there are complaints around the fact that they can't connect.
They
But
can.
I'm here. Mhm.
Okay, fine. So while you start the session, I will try and see I can sort that out. All right. So you are welcome, Innocent. Over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for connecting with us today. Um, I'll just simply, I hope you are enjoying the lockdown situation in the country right now. And I'll just be taking us through how to manage personal and team productivity remotely during this lockdown period. Now, remote working is an arrangement that allows work to be done outside the traditional office arrangement. And why I'm saying this is the fact that, yeah, a lot of us are used to, quite a number of people, they try to do remote working right now. But this type of remote working that we have right now is a different type because um, right now people are forced to stay at home with their family members. But in a normal remote working arrangement, it's not like that. But suddenly, right now, it has become very clear that work can be done from anywhere. anywhere, courtesy COVID-19. The millennials seems to exhibit very high preference for this type of working. For this type of working, and of course, we continue also to see that millennials begin to, are showing more interest in this type of working arrangement. Employers are also now beginning to see the benefit associated with this type of working arrangement. So, from all intents and purpose, this may become the future of work going forward. It may actually become the future of work. Now, while working from home, we must all remain individually productive and very, very agile and ready to work. But why am I saying this? Why must we remain very productive at this time? Working remotely can be challenging for first timers. I remember when I started, it was a bit challenging, even though from the beginning of my career life, I've always had an home office. But during this lockdown, the first 3 days, 4 days, I wasn't able to concentrate well. And that was what actually drove me to wanting to research a bit about how one can become much more productive in a lockdown situation. I've found out from some of the things I saw from what other people have written. There are many, many tiny efforts that must be put in place to achieve anything. In this type of working arrangement. And the fact is that only staff members that remain very productive will matter to the organizations post COVID-19. Individuals and organizations must therefore begin to gear up for this change. You just must gear up for this change. At the end of my session, I want to believe that given active participation and listening on this session, you will be able to adopt proven strategies that will enable you to remain personally effective while working remotely from home in a lockdown situation. I also want to believe that you would effectively be able to manage the productivity of your work teams, particularly for those of us that are team leads, while working remotely, because these two key competencies are critical for us right now going forward. So, in terms of my outline, we'll look at all the challenges that are associated with remote working, tips for managing personal productivity while working from home. We also look at tips for leading remote work teams, particularly for those of us that are team leads. I also would, then zero in into talking about pitfalls to avoid while working remotely. And then we talk about the future of remote working in the world, and we'll summarize and close. So I want to believe that between 30 to maybe 40 minutes or 45 minutes, we should be done with this presentation. Now, what are the challenges of remote working from what I've seen and what I've heard? The comfort at home supports more of leisure than work. And this is one of the things that we must take going forward. The comfort at home does not support productivity. Yeah. It is more of leisure than work. Now, keeping yourself motivated in the absence of others, it's also one of the challenges. There are myriads of infrastructure challenges. Limited workspace within homes may not actually permit, setting up additional work areas. That number one, for those of us that are still involved in squatting, those of us that squat, it may be a bit challenging. But however, we must all try and find solutions around how we can get work done. There are also technology challenges. Laptops, for you to be able to work at home, at least you need a laptop or you need a desktop. More often than not, people have laptops. Internet data is also one of it, and power is also one of the technology challenges that must be taken care of. A lot of people just believe that all these things must be provided to them by the organization. Anyway, I'll get to that as we go on. The other challenge that we see is team communication challenges, where you see some certain teams are communicating very well, others are not communicating very well. So you have two extremes. See, but the point is that team communication challenges do happen when it comes to remote working. Distraction from family. I mean, family members who think that you're on vacation and therefore would want your attention is a major challenge. Major challenge that we must think about. And of course, damage control, when someone just pours in water into the system, it's a challenge. There is also the challenge of underwork and overwork. You will just continue to work and work and work, and you won't remember to get up from your workspace. So those are challenges that must be taken care of. There are also some of us that just have very poor work habits that may impact, we can get into a work habit that can impact our personal health. There are a few things that we're going to be talking about how to actually get around that. The tendency to micromanage team members is also extremely high when we're in a, when you are doing work remotely, and particularly for team leads. Just getting across to them every minute, and all that. The tendency to micromanage is there, and this is one of the challenge that we must think about. And of course, tracking and rewarding performance. Yeah, right now we're beginning to see that physical availability alone no longer matters. Yeah, it's successful delivery of work products within agreed timeline. That is what matters. So how do we then do the goal setting in such a way that it's easy for us to actually measure our own performance, and also to also measure performance of those that are working with us? These are all some of the challenges that I have been able to see with remote working. Um, there are a few other challenges. Enforcement of discipline and focus also came up when we're trying to do the research around this. Provision of direct physical coaching support. Some managers prefer to do one-on-one physical coaching. And now that everybody is on lockdown situation, it becomes a bit more challenging to do that. Data privacy, proprietary information compromise, it's another major challenge. You are having a telecom conference or you are having a video conference at home, everybody around you is listening to those conversations. It's a major challenge, that needs to be taken care of. And of course, loyalty to one employer also then becomes a very big challenge as you go, because with remote working, there are possibilities that an individual can actually, be working for multiple employers. So it's a major challenge when it comes to managing people in a from remote locations. Therefore, to remain very productive, therefore, in the face of all these challenges, when I was trying to do my research work, I made contact with materials that were written by, an individual like Bring Tracy and quite a number of other authors. And from what I got, coupled with my own experience within the first few days, I was able to come out with some of the things that tips that I believe that will be useful for everyone at this time. The first one is the fact that you must create a morning routine. Yeah, the first thing is to create a morning routine. Routine and productivity go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. You need to reestablish a morning routine as quickly as possible, just like you normally do. When you come to the office to work, you must have a morning routine. Wake up at the right time, clean up as usual, dress up for work, just like you, would do when you are going to the office. And of course, this practice, from people that have done it, we've seen that it helped them to prepare psychologically for work for the day. They were able to get into their normal work rhythm on time. And when I practiced the it also communicated information to people around me that I'm not on vacation. Yeah, that I'm working. These are so you need to create a morning routine for yourselves. You just need to create a morning routine that works for you. The second thing is that we need to create a designated work area within our home. and also then begin to work from there. Do not be tempted to work from your bed. In fact, you are inviting sleep most of the time. Do not be tempted to work from your bedroom, ladies and gentlemen. Avoid it completely. The environment for leisure does not always support high productivity. You must understand that. And of course, creating a designated work area, I mean, like the type you work from when you normally come to the office, is one of the things that you may need to do very quickly. This work area must be meant for work. It must be meant for work, and treat it like that. When people see you get into that workspace, they know that it's time for work, and it will psychologically communicate an information to people that you are actually busy, and the family members will also then begin to stay a bit away from you. Now, at your designated work area, ladies and gentlemen, that's the third thing. Now, create, and I mean, you need to create a to-do list. Create one and make sure you always have one. Have a to-do list, the things you want to do during the day. Allocate tasks to be accomplished in small blocks of time, spread across your productive work hours. Very, very important. And of course, motivate yourself to start on the first one and just continue to, I mean, allow yourself to follow through for the day. At the end of each day, you need to do self-evaluation of your productivity for the day before you close. And of course, try and make sufficient plans for the next day. It will really help you to get a bit much more organized. And of course, it will also put you in the mood to be able to work. Now, there is the danger of people not, I mean, people just becoming a bit careless with their working hours. One of the tricks, one of the tips I got was the fact that you need to work your normal hours. Why? Your mind and body are already used to working working certain hours over the years. And of course, for every one of us, we know the time of the day when we are most productive. It is best to identify those times and ensure you're pushing so much work into that time when you are most productive. While you are working, give attention to all the details. I mean, all the details, just like you do in the office. Do not assume that when I send my work out, the manager will pick it. That's not the way to go. We need to invest our idle time on personal development through all various avenues that are available right now. Do book reviews, online webinars, training events, and to think of it, a lot of them are free now. It was a surprise for me that Harvard Business School sent out invites for free training. And when I looked at each of those trainings, it was about, there were some for over $1,000. And when you multiply that, it's about 380,000 naira. I sent the links to a lot of people. I don't know how many people took advantage of it. See, but I mean, my wife told me that she was given 6 courses. If you multiply that by about 380,000 naira, you see how much money has been given out. Yeah. See, right now, think about personal development and occupy your idle time with it as well. Digital and social media skills, very, very important. In fact, that is the future. You must acquire those skills. Use this time to be able to do that. Visit YouTube and other free learning sites. In fact, you can practically learn anything on YouTube. When I was searching through YouTube, I came across a management development program, 4 or 5 day program, 4 hours per day. Ladies and gentlemen, I was shocked that such materials could be on YouTube. There are myriads of training programs that you can take advantage of on the YouTube today, which they are free. They are free. Now, know when to stop work for the day to avoid burnout. Yeah, you need to also enable, because you need to create time to be able to attend to other work related issues around your own self too. So we don't expect you, for instance, now to just forget yourself on work. And of course, you go beyond the your working hours. Yeah. Ensure that you know when to stop work for the day and give attention to people that you need to attend to. The fifth tip for you, for your own personal productivity, is that you need to envisage and plan ahead to mitigate distractions. This is very important. Yeah, you need to plan ahead of it. Envisage it and plan ahead for it. Do not forget that distractions will always come from your spouse, from your children, from your flatmates, from your family friends, from your pets. They would always come from there. Too frequent check-ins and calls from boss can also create some distractions. But with regards to the family, you need to engage every family member well. If you don't engage them, they would want to engage you. You see, you need to focus children on completion of different work assignments. Yeah. There are things around categorization, all the numerical, analytical skills development programs that are out there right now. There are educational games, support programs from schools. There are various educational institutions that are providing online training support right now, particularly in this lockdown situation. There are NGOs, government institutions, for instance. Practically every state government now has yeah, they have learning platforms that people can actually log into. But however, you must prepare for the fact that you must prepare to provide extra telephones, either extra telephones, extra tablets, computers, internet data for this purpose. Remember, if you don't engage them, they would want to engage you because right now they see the way they look at you right now is if you're on holiday, and while you're on holiday, if you've not yet had time for them, if you've not had enough time for them before this time, this is the time that they would want to really engage with you. But if you don't give them work to do, they become very restless and they would disturb you. You need to keep emphasizing the fact that you are not on vacation, but you are working from home. That is one of the things that I did just to ensure that I keep that in the consciousness of everybody around me. Family members may not adjust at first, but they will eventually do with time. So, as much as possible, just envisage and plan ahead to mitigate distractions. The other distraction that I see happening is the issue of power, knowing the kind of country that we are in. I'm speaking from Nigeria, and I know that there is major power issue. So you must plan for it. You must also plan for internet network failure. Very, very important. You see, you must have an alternative power source to power your basic hardware. Even if you don't have enough power source to power the entire house, at least things that can help you charge your phone, like your laptop, can that help you charge your internet modem, that can help you that can help you power simple fan. Yeah, you see, power failure should no longer be an excuse. Yeah, it shouldn't be an excuse at all. Why? Because there are all manner of small, inexpensive power solutions right now. There are power generators that are very small. There are internet solutions that are quite inexpensive. We also have inverters, particularly for the middle level and for the senior level people. Right now, I'm talking about the very, very low level people within organization. You see, all these things exist. As low as 10,000 to 25,000 naira, you can get yourself a small generator like the one you are seeing on the screen right now. It's easily movable, which you can use to power, particularly when you are having meetings and there is a need for you to have. You need to meet, or you need to connect. You need to there is no excuse, going forward. And of course, please make provisions for internet data sources. You see, remote workers, they may require at least two internet service providers. There are times when I'm on webinar. There are times when I'm on video calls, times when I'm on meetings, virtual meetings, when I'll just realize that the my internet solution at home, is failing. What I do is to quickly switch to my hotspot on my phone. So I have a different internet. Have a different internet service provider for my on my phone. The one I have at home is different. So I'm able to quickly switch over so that there is no break in communication and I'm not hindered in any way. So this may be a tip that you may also want to use. And of course, please expect, a lot of us expect that our employers must do everything. Let's start thinking beyond that. Yeah. Expecting your employer to provide everything that you need to work from home is a wishful thinking. Yeah, it's just wishful thinking. That may not many organizations can will be able to accommodate providing everything you need to be able to work from home. So, you can invest in your own self as well as we go on. Now, the sixth tip I would like to share is take scheduled breaks. Yeah, this is not an enemy of productivity, but it enhances it. Yeah. Medical practitioners recommend that you must take a walk every 2 hours. Yeah, at every 2 hour interval, take a walk. And all this will help to refresh the mind, increase productivity. It will help to aid the flow of blood circulation to the brain and other parts of the body. And of course, it will help to guide against severe waist pain. Yeah, because you are working from home, you may be so immersed in work that you can see that you are sitting you are sitting at a position for about 5 hours at a stretch. See, don't kill yourself. See, you need to get, because if you're in the office, somebody will come and you see people walking around, and you may not easily get into that. But at home, it's so easy for you to forget yourself and just be on and on and on. And before you know it, you start having waist pain. So let's avoid that. Have your scheduled breaks, and during breaks, you can then reconnect with family members, have chit chats with them. During your long break too, which is about 1 hour, you can spend time with them. But once those short breaks are over, everybody goes back to work again, so that you can have some time to be able to work. Now, you need to stay connected with team members, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the biggest challenge in remote working. You just need to know, you need to provide updates on your own progress. You need to keep yourself updated on what other people are doing. And of course, please use your telephone. Every telephone right now has telephone conference facilities. Particularly those are used at the Android phones. Yeah, there are telephone conference facilities. If you don't want to burn too much data, WhatsApp is there, Microsoft Office is there, Zoom is there, Basecamp is there. So just ensure that you are connected with other members of your work team. See, I'm beginning even to hear right now that there are people are even conducting, in fact, ministers, church ministers are beginning to conduct naming ceremonies right now on using either Zoom or using WhatsApp, the video facilities on WhatsApp. You can practically use this to do anything. This will help you get much work done. See, so ladies and gentlemen, in terms of key takeaways, if you want to manage your own personal productivity, like I said, create the morning routine, have a designated work area, work in your designated work area. You see, work your normal hours. Don't make the mistake of not doing that. Just try and work your own normal hours. Yeah. Envisage and plan each day to mitigate distractions. Distractions will always be there, but you must plan to mitigate it. Take scheduled breaks. Stay connected with your team members, and please invest idle time on personal development. Yeah, just make sure you are doing something. So, in terms of managing personal productivity, these are the tips that I have to share with you. But however, there are a number of us that we have team. We are team leads, and while in a lockdown situation, you're not only taking responsibility for your own self. You are taking responsibilities for the work of others. And for this category of people, I also have some tips for you. Yeah, it's quite challenging managing remotely people that you used to manage in person. Let's not kid ourselves. That is the stark reality. Yeah. But a team lead needs to develop a strategy that would make this happen seamlessly. Yeah. There are proven tips for effectively managing remote work teams, particularly in a lockdown situation. I've practiced this and I've seen that it worked for me. So I'm trying to, therefore, I would like to recommend a few things that you may want to do that would help ensure that You are still managing the productivity of your workforce, even when they are not directly around you. You need to understand that the first tip here is the fact that we need to understand that everyone will need to adjust. So productivity might drop in the first few days because everyone is trying to make a sense of the new reality, and you must be conscious of that. So you, at the beginning, you may need to accommodate people. Over time, people will get into the rhythm to be able to work around this. The first 3 days for me, I couldn't concentrate. That's the truth. Yeah. So there's a need to put in place a plan and policy that would guide staff members on on this new dispensation. Yeah. You need to put a guide in place. All team members must therefore honor this remote working arrangement, which is guided by policies. And apart from that, I would normally recommend that you need to train all your team members on remote working strategies. We did a briefing session with our team members before the lockdown on how we had an emergency plan, and we took all team members through that emergency plan before the lockdown. So during the lockdown, everybody just rolled into that emergency plan. That was what we had to do for our team. So you may want to borrow a leaf from that. You need to have a daily check-in time. Yeah. Perform daily check-in and trust your team to be able to do a good job. Schedule telephone calls to discuss, ahead of the day, and of course, allow questions, allow people to discuss difficulties, their concerns, their work, their tasks that has been assigned to them. That's the purpose. That's the purpose for this. Now, you may need to also perform individual check-in where necessary. Yeah. But I must quickly say this, that please and please, in doing your check-in responsibilities, check-in roles, please, we want to also appeal to you that don't become monitoring spirits, as this can become counterproductive to those that can become very counterproductive for people that you are leading. City members as adults that should be encouraged to take self, that should be encouraged to be self accountable. That's one. And of course, we want to believe that your remote working policy should actually communicate reward and consequences for deviation. By so doing, it will really help you to be organized. So have a daily check-in time that you check on your people. Use technology. You can't run away from technology. Use it. Share files back and forth. Assign tasks to specific team members. Agree timelines that they must come back to you. And of course, there is also need for you to track their progress on what's going on. You can also even use the technology to do some team bonding and coaching events as well. Zoom will really help you to be able to do this. Yeah. People that have Microsoft Office Teams, fantastic software, and some of the other ones I've recommended in here for you will come very handy. Well, somebody may say, where do I then get the data to be able to do it? Well, that's another question. Data is available, readily available. Yeah, you either invest on it your time, or we see how we can augment data for your team members. Now, you need to discuss performance expectations very clearly. Don't allow people to start working on assumptions. Don't let things become sudden because it creates confusion. Yeah. Measure success. All your measure success. But however, ladies and gentlemen, the measure of success must be very clear, and it must be it must be discussed at the beginning. Celebrate wins, and of course, encourage self-reporting. Let people report to you what they've done. Maybe you want to do every Friday, they just report to you what they've done during the week. Yeah, self-reporting is very, very important so that you can actually, number one, you can track what's going on so that you can also provide all the required support. The fifth tip I would like to share if you are a team lead, is the fact that you need to stay focused on the outcomes, not just activities. Yeah. Yeah. Outcome is very important. Yeah. Follow up on outcomes. Avoid making the mistakes of having to start also micromanaging people. You must avoid it. Yeah. Trust them. Trust your team. And of course, we also want to believe that when they see you trust them, they will be able to live up to the task. Yeah. So on an ongoing basis, track performance, provide coaching support, provide feedback where it is required. Very important. Very important. Now, the sixth tip is the fact that you need to create your communication strategy. This must support your communication. Good communication is necessary at this time. You need to maintain a level of open communication. Yeah, yeah. Just like you did when you were all under the same roof. So you need to keep asking team members to feel free to get in touch with you if there's a need for any clarification on anything that needs to be done. But please try and set aside time as well for chit chats with team members. It will really help to to help people to be able to your people to become and remain productive during this period. So in terms of key takeaways for the team leaders, like I said, know that productivity may drop at the beginning of a remote working. You need to be a bit patient. Have a daily check-in time for your entire team members. Sometimes to have a check-in time for individuals, particularly when it is necessary. Technology, make use of it. For all your collaboration work, for meetings, technology will be extremely useful. Discuss performance expectations very clearly. Celebrate wins, ladies and gentlemen. Stay focused on outcomes, not just activities, and clearly create a communication strategy for your people. Now, I will just quickly talk about the pitfalls to avoid when working remotely. There are pitfalls that you must avoid. The first one, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that if you don't have a policy the policy on do's and don'ts, it will work against, this working arrangement. You need a policy in place to say how to manage disruptions, how to handle sensitive information. Provisions must be made for supporting infrastructure and data. Policy must also be very clear on personal care of laptops, that has been assigned for this purpose. Very important. Yeah. Subscription to just a single internet provider and source of power can be a challenge, like I said earlier. You see, if you are subscribed to just one single internet provider, there may be a challenge. There may be a challenge. You may need to work yourself out of that. Poor self-leadership would also is a pitfall. At this point in time, when nobody is breathing down your neck, you need to know how to handle your own self-leadership. Not managing upward is also one of the pitfalls to avoid. See, do not say, yeah, my manager is not pursuing me, or my team member is not pursuing. My team lead is not pursuing me. Therefore, I can just afford to relax. Deliver work on time to meet minimum deliverable standards, even without your team. Without encourage them, without you pursuing before, without allowing the supervisor to start pursuing you. You need to take responsibility to ask for feedback. Yeah, as you go on. Failure to have daily check-in time would be a major pitfall for you. Particularly for the team leads. Not communicating to provide useful information can also be a challenge. If there are templates that they can use to start off any assignment, please feel free to share it with team members. Note that after they've gone 2 or 3 days, they now discover that they are working with the wrong template. Yeah. I'm sure some of us are identifying with the things I'm saying right now. Not delegating and empowering other team members sufficiently enough to be able to make even minor decisions. It's a pitfall. Yeah. This will take away their initiative. It will kill their initiative. It will completely hamper it. So you need to know you need to delegate work and empower others to be able to do it so that they can keep also taking their initiatives to run. Now, the seventh pitfall that I identified that I also want to share with you that you need to be mindful of is the fact that not having definite plans in place to manage distractions during your working hours. I already provided a few things, a few information and tips that can help you manage distractions. But please, for the team leads, be mindful of the fact that women and caregivers, they may need to juggle work with other responsibilities, especially if the home is the remote working point. Don't not forget the fact that now there are so many things that women and caregivers must do at home. Plan ahead for this, and of course, if I would also say for people who have this that may actually have this challenge, there may be a need for you to also discuss with your team lead. I mean, the way your day is structured and when you also will be available to be able to connect with them. Yeah. So not helping yourself and your team members to build and sharpen their remote working skills. I would expect that at the end of this session right now, you may need to take your own people through how to work remotely. The first part of my presentation would actually help in taking care of that. You need to teach people how to, don't assume they should know. See, don't assume they should know. See, one of the things I've found out in life is that we assume too much. Don't assume that they should know. Just take time to be able to do it as well to ensure it happens. And of course, the temptation is always there for a remote worker to begin to work for multiple employers. It's a pitfall that you need to take, that you need to be aware of. It can lead to several things. We need to be careful around this while we are trying to work remotely. So, what is the future of work going to look like, ladies and gentlemen? You see, from my own perspective as a consultant, and from all the conversations that I've been having with both employers and employees, most employers and employees may actually likely accept this working arrangement going forward. The point is that some employees are going to come back after the lockdown and say and be asking for a flexible working arrangement. So we must begin to prepare our minds for this. Yeah, because this disruption has actually ushered in flexible working arrangement, which will drive consensual modification of terms of employment going forward. And a lot of people are going to come for it. It can be activated by the individuals, by employees. It can also be activated by employers. So we must prepare our minds for that. This will also, the concern for me too is that this may also begin to affect compensation and benefits packages going forward. It may not be like it used to be before now. And of course, too, my all other concern is the fact that it will also affect ethics, loyalty between employees and employers, and we must begin to gear up for how to manage this well. Working for multiple employers, some of whom can actually be direct competition, can begin to just show its face. So we may now also begin to think around the discussions around this is still on, and I'm sure that before the end of the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and there will be more concrete things to talk about what's going to become the future of work around this area. So, ladies and gentlemen, in summary and conclusion, remote working has come to stay. I do not see it going away completely. Individuals and organizations must gear up for this change and to actually face this new reality. It's important that we all remain individually productive while working from home because, like I said at the beginning, those that are productive now are those that will matter to their organizations going forward. How to achieve these are all the things that I've talked about, I've been discussing ever since. But however, I would just want to quickly bring in all the tips that I've shared so far and put it on the screen. The key takeaways from this session, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that you need to, personal productivity, you need to manage it. For personal productivity, all the things I've identified here are all the things that we need to do. As individuals, and if you're a team lead, ladies and gentlemen, you also, you as an individual, I said, create morning routine, have a designated work area, work in your designated work area, work your normal hours, envisage and plan to mitigate distractions, take scheduled breaks and both short and long, stay connected with your team members, and please invest idle time in personal development. But if you are a team lead, you are a manager of people, know that productivity might drop at the beginning of the remote working period. Just need to be patient. As people begin to get more familiar with it, productivity will begin to go up. Like I said, you need to have a daily check-in time for entire team. You need to utilize technology for your online collaborations and meetings. Discuss performance expectations very clearly. And I said there is a need to celebrate wins. Stay focused on outcomes, and please create a communication strategy that would work for you and your team members. And please don't forget all the pitfalls that I already mentioned about while working remotely, and do everything possible to try and mitigate them. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would say if you want to change your future, you must act today and do what you must do, in this lockdown situation, to remain productive. So I would say, ladies and gentlemen, remain productively productive during this period. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I will just quickly take us back to this summary page. Then please, you are free to ask your questions now. Please, you're still there. So can we can send in our questions? Send in your questions. Okay, my admin has actually sent me one. Shehu, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, okay. So I have 4 children, and one of them is a toddler. The crèche and schools are on break. How do I cope? Well, if you see some of the things I said, you need to engage. You need to engage. We need to actively engage everyone. We need to engage everyone. And there was something I shared over here on how we can engage family members, toddlers or no toddler. There may be a need for you to arrange for um, if you don't have a caregiver, there may be a need to arrange for one. And if you still don't have, in this lockdown situation, like I said, you just need to engage them in work assignments. Try and see how you can engage them in work assignments. And I also said something, maybe I didn't put it down. You need to put in place a reward mechanism where you give them assignments and you say, if you successfully complete this assignment, this is going to be your reward. And for every day, you need to continue to be creative. Educational games are there. Um, um, uh, um, every school right now, practically every school right now, are available on. They've all gone LMS. Various NGOs are running support training programs for children. We're seeing people run support programs for. Okay, so you will see that. Sorry, what we're talking about the other time just happened right now. Power has gone down, but thank God that I've already prepared for a time like this. So I'm putting on my own generator to be able to support the process. You can see how it is right now, or else I would have lost. I would have lost you completely, or you would have lost me. Now, I also said that you may need to provide games. Just look for enough games that can engage them. That would help to be able to manage toddlers. And if you have relations at home who are not working, you can also create opportunities where you say, okay, if you help me provide caregiver support to this individual, there is a remuneration for you every day. That would motivate an individual to say that even when they are home, they are also working and they are making money. So I don't know whether this answers your question, but if there is anyone on the platform who currently does something around this, please, you may also try and share your own experience as well.
We'll go to the next question. Innocent, no one
Yeah,
is
I
sharing.
see. Okay, the next question says that I have a team member who is very difficult to manage in the office. I always micromanage him. In this lockdown situation, he really takes my calls when it matters. How do I manage this situation? Fantastic. Now, here every team member requires different management style. There are some team members, if you see that what works for them is micromanaging them, maybe that is still one of the leadership styles that you are going to adopt in managing them. But however, you may need to tone down a bit. Now, when assignments are given to them, agree your measuring what do we call it now? Measuring standards, agree timeline for submission, and track it. And once he or she sends in her work product, give feedback on the quality of the work that has been done as well as the timeline. If she sees that you are remembering to track time of delivery once, twice, it will begin to occur to her that it is not business as usual, and that you are actually trying to track his efficiency and effectiveness during this period. So that's the way I think you should do. In terms of taking your phone calls, I would say if you call and no answer, send a text message to your text message and through WhatsApp. And if that individual then also still refuses, then it's an issue that the next time that this person picks the phone, there is a need to actually discuss it. Yeah. So I'm done with that. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, I have a question from Kemi. I am a mother, a wife, and an HR professional. There are so many distractions, and I work best at night when everyone is asleep. Fantastic. The night seasons are always the best time to work where no distractions. It's a good way to work. But however, one of the things you must think about is that when are my clients available to attend to me? Are they available at night or are they available during the day? Now, if they are available during the day, then it simply means that you may just have to create that time to be able to work during the day. Like I said, you need to create a work area within your home, engage the children actively, give them assignments to do, add some reward element to it. Once you've done it once or twice, and they are actually getting rewarded for it. In fact, they will keep looking forward to you giving them assignments to do during this period. I saw a video that was trending some time ago. A lady actually took a bowl of rice and put it on the floor and asked the son to count those grains of rice for her. That may be a bit cynical, but when you realize that you will not be able to get work done during the day, you may just come up with creative ideas. Children like games a lot. Let them play, let them have, there are games. You may need to invest a bit in getting games, and of course too, their schools are running programs. Government is running. Lagos State government, for instance, I'm aware that they have school online that they are running. You may just need to invest. Maybe you may make your phone available that they can use to be able to connect with the learning. Yeah. So that's the way I think that you may be able to that's the way I think you may be able to manage toddlers. I know toddlers are quite challenging to manage. Once their mother is around or their parents are around, they just want to lock around you. Well, you still have to work, and you must just create the way to be productive. If you have loads of work assignments, yeah, when they've all gone to bed, you can quickly also get those things done so that very early hour of the morning, you are submitting your work products to your supervisor, and that works. But during the day, you must just find a way, particularly for telephone conferencing and all that. You must make yourself available. Sometimes I've also seen people carry their children when they are making calls while they are also having telephone conversations, when they are having a conference in the office, on the office and they are carrying those babies. They actually just make food available to them. So they keep the baby busy while they are doing their own office work and they are having their conversations. So you must just try and create something around that that would make that work. Thank you. Well, if employees ask for flexible working arrangement, this is from Omolowo Folusho. He said, if employees ask for flexible working arrangement, how do you protect organizational business secrets since employees may be at liberty to work for multiple business organizations, the same line of business? Well, it was part of the pitfalls I mentioned that we may begin to see that maybe organizations and employers may try and you may try and sign data privacy arrangements with your employees and ensure that you also ensure that those things are actually in their letters of engagement. And of course, talk about it. Moral suasion will also be good. And of course, this is the time too when every employer needs to actually also bring out their best in terms of managing their people. Moral suasion would help, but policies would also help. And of course, the IT people also know how to put things on the machines that people work with that can also help prevent data privacy issues. Yeah. Multitasking. Multitasking plus creativity is also is the key to this season that you need to do. Maybe you may still just flash that at the second part of that question. I didn't get everything. Shew, I've not dealt with the second part of the question. Number two, how do you handle subordinates' obvious failures to meet timelines, particularly when this affects your deliverables on your own, to your own line manager? For example, about 4 mails to a subordinate, and the reply you get is mailbox is full. Then you need to put a call across to the subordinate and let him know exactly what's going on. The subordinate may not even be aware that his or her mailbox is full. So you need to call. In this situation, you are free to then make that call and say, come, your mailbox is full, things are not getting across to you. And when he sees your call once or twice, he or she would pick the call to see what's going on. In fact, there are multiple platforms now that you can actually use to send messages to people. One of the things we did when we were leaving is that we told all our team members that come, your phone must be available. So there's nothing like you put off your phone. I can't reach you. If I can't reach you, I will send you a WhatsApp message or I will send you a text message. You will get one, both of it. But you must also know that you are not on vacation. We are at work. And once we have that orientation that we are not on vacation, we're at work, everybody know that every day you must get into your work, you must put on your work cap every day, and you must be expecting that somebody would call you from the office to get clarification on one thing or the other. So it's just to live ready. But however, if the situation continues to linger, well, this now becomes a performance issue, and you may need to deal with it in an appropriate manner. Use your performance management system to enforce compliance. Yeah. So we must use multiple, like I said, platforms to communicate with our people to ensure that they get it. Any other question?
All right, Innocent, thank you very much. There are no questions at this point. We probably may have an interactive session where people will have to ask their questions. I am aware that some people are having a lot of challenges. In fact, a lot of people have some challenges connecting via LinkedIn, especially. So maybe we may probably have a repeat session where we would get
How
people
many
to
people? How many people are able to connect through Facebook now?
Facebook. We have over 200, and then on YouTube we have over 200 as well. So that's the statistics. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Innocent. Thank you for this session. Um, in case you in case you would want this particular presentation, you could send us an email, all right, to contact us at hcp-ng.com. We'll be very happy to send this presentation to you. And in case you also have questions that you really wish to be answered, you can also use the same platform to send questions. We will definitely get in touch with you and then provide some sort of answers to your questions. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. It's been a wonderful session, and we hope we'll have more sessions with you, Innocent, in subsequent days ahead.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
So thank you very much for joining us, everyone. We quite appreciate the time. Thank you.